Bishop Kingori tells the congregants, we have a student who have a challenge and he has no accommodation. So if there's a family who can pick him and help, just come and see us in the office. So I was adopted. So I've gone through adoption in the US. You know, in church in America, I realized they don't treat that as a social club. They treat it as a healing place where they come and bring their souls to console each other. Like, how have you been, Greg? How is your wife? How is your family? Oh, you're doing wonderful. You know, they could even come with their pets and their dogs and lock them somewhere out there.
No.
Now, I never knew I'm losing it. I'm stranded in the US. By that time, I had started getting depressed. I never knew that depression was eating me because I had a lot of Meshidia Maike. No, it was not easy. As you know, it might be easy right now as I'm talking.
Yeah.
It was not easy. And back home, I was a famous person. I was a gospel artist. I was a youth pastor. You know, I was like, why did I leave Kenya? And most of the white students, they bully you. So they start honking. You get off, man. Hey, go pay your fee, man. Get off. Hey, man, get off. And I remember I started sinking into depression. Because after that 1 week, now I've lost it.
Hello, good people. Welcome again. Hey, let me tell you, people. Me, that I've gone through setbacks in life. Kube, I've not gone through any setbacks. This man of God has really given us his testimony. Have you watched part 1 and part 2 of this? Have you ever had someone who goes the first setback, rises again, a second one, mpaka kudeportiwa US? That must have really worked you down emotionally.
Yeah.
Wow, so welcome. If you've not heard that testimony, kindly go to part 2. It is there. You'll listen and you'll tell me what you think. So now here we are. We still want to see how this man of God will rebuild these pieces from here, and be smiling the way he is smiling today and giving hope to other people. So this is where now we are. This is where we want now to get the icing of the whole thing, where you will get the strength. So karibu sana.
Yes.
We continue giving hope.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen and amen. We are doing this for the sake of the gospel.
Yes.
And once again, I want to honor God because of you and your platform. Suzy Yure Diadem. Awesome. This is a wonderful platform.
Yes.
And I believe you have been touching souls and hearts of people. And through this, I believe you have lifted a lot of souls. A lot of discouraged people have gotten back to their feet again.
Yes.
Through your platform.
So
may the Lord continue also giving you the favor that you deserve and the rewards that goes with this. Because when you heal souls, God will also heal your life.
Amen.
So may also God also take this platform to higher levels.
Amen.
Because you're not just reaching the locals. I know you are reaching a lot of people in the world.
Sure.
And I know by the grace of God, this is just the beginning.
Amen.
The next time tutakuwa sasa tuna Suzy the Diamond Television.
I tell you.
Yes.
Amen. Amen.
Yes. So asanteni sana. We back again to give our testimony.
Yes.
We want to remind our viewers, we don't give our testimonies to brag. We don't give our testimonies just to show off. We give our testimonies for the sake of those who needs to be encouraged.
Sure.
We are here to let people know that even servants of God,
yes,
even people who have walked with God, go through trials and temptations, but the hand of God never lets them down.
Sure.
Apostle Joshua Salman from Nigeria, one of my mentors that I usually also follow so much online, once said that never stand before Pharaoh before you see the burning bush. Never stand before Pharaoh before you see the burning bush.
The encounter.
Yes. So in other words, God will have to take you through fire before he sends you to rescue his people. Yes. So I've realized the challenges that God has been taking me through. I usually take them so positively. And when I look back, I smile and I tell God, wow, I never knew. Nilikuwa nipitie hiyo kwa sababu ya hii. So every time I go through a test, I don't complain. Kila mtu anapitia jangwa yake.
Okay.
So don't pull us to your wilderness. Usituite huko. Don't pull your husband, your wife. Don't pull your community. Don't pull your parents. Don't pull your kids with you. When God is taking you through the wilderness, accept to be there with him alone.
Wow. Now the Reverend is back to Kenya.
Yes.
Now family, because you filed divorce before you left.
Yes.
You've not achieved your dreams
Yes.
in the US. And I'm not sure you want to show your face. Now that is where I want you to start. How you handled yourselves that now you've been deported back and you have all these lost dreams.
Yes.
How will you now come back to the society?
Now, I'll take you through a journey in the US, what I was going through. And I also forgot something even before I went to the US. Maybe a recap. When I went through the restitution and I confessed my sins and all that, I served the Anglican Church again in Kutus for some time as I waited for God to open doors for me. And I remember this time how God opened the door for me to go to Bible college. It was also an encounter with God. Because I remember there was this Reverend Steve Ngoru, the son of Ngoru, who now is, I understand, is a bishop in Australia, who came to our church. He was invited by the Sundays to come and minister. He was a visiting guest minister. And he came to minister and he said that he needed an interpreter. And I remember my mom, Reverend Joyce, and he said, wake up and interpret for him. Remember, now I have been forgiven, I'm now serving so freely. So I rose up and I started interpreting for him. By then, Reverend Steve was the general secretary of Church Army Bible College, Carlisle, in Nairobi. So he came and ministered. And after ministering, as I interpreted for him, he also recognized something in me that I never knew. So after he prayed and he did an altar call and he released his blessings to people, he said, I want to give a gift to this church. I want to call this young man who has, who has been interpreting for me. And I understand that he's an evangelist. And we want to give him a scholarship to go to Bible college. And he's not going to pay even a single coin for 3 years. So tunataka tumnyang'anye huyu kijana wenu. And he prophesied and he said, and we might not bring him back here. This one is international. And he said, we might not bring him back after tumemtrain. Huyu anaweza enda akahubiri international. That was a prophetic word. So with my able spiritual parents, remember, if I had a spiritual parent who never wished me well, they could not have signed for me. So with my able spiritual parents who backed me up, they encouraged me so much. And actually they had talked with him also. And they recommended me, they gave me wonderful recommendations, sent me to my Bishop Ngoru. He gave me a very wonderful recommendation. And, those recommendations, even from Sky Remit. So I went back to those institutions that I served and I asked them for recommendation and they gave me wonderful recommendations. And I went to Bible College, Church Army. After the third year, even before the final semester, I was employed as a youth pastor. Again, I served under Reverend Canon Peter Minor, a very wonderful man of God who encouraged me, supported my dreams. nikashikilia teenagers ya youth wa ACK St. Paul, South Sea. We raised the ministry together. We served together by the grace of God. And after 1 year, the door again was slammed against me. This time, it was not my mistakes. It was a leader. The transfers came, and they came another minister in charge of the church. And he was threatened by my charisma. He was threatened by how I was serving God. He was threatened by the terms of service, how my payroll and all that. I don't want to mention that, mchungaji, but he came na yeye akagonga my gift.
Okay.
Now he's late, he's gone, but he injured my ministry. He injured me so much. Unajua kuna, I would also want to request our ministry, our ministers, ambao wanalea the young people, the young clergy, that you need to be tender. We make mistakes, we make our flaws, but you need to be tender as you raise us.
Yes.
I had not made any mistake that time. I was as clean, as crystal, as clear, but he had issues with my payment, my payroll, vile nimeajiriwa na wazee, and he told me I have to reapply again because actually I'm not from the Diocese of Nairobi. I have to go back to Kirinyaga, get a recommendation there from the bishop, reapply and all those protocols and all that. He had an issue with me. Ni wale watu wanapiganga wachungaji wadogo. But by the grace of God, I still had some wazee wa kanisa, akina Charles Robia, wazee wa kanisa wa hiyo kanisa, my uncle alikuwa anaitwa Kenya, I think he was the treasurer of the church, and some men, some, you know, watu ambao waliona kipawa changu. And they are the same people who gave me his barua ya scholarship. Wakaniambia apply. Take a break and apply, and just go to pursue your dreams.
Yeah.
Because already now, huyu jamaa amegonga my ministry.
Yes.
That was a time that I felt like giving up and going back to giving up on ministry. As I told you, I'm one of those people who don't like politics in ministry. So I just pull off. And I have no problem with pulling off.
Okay.
Because I don't fall in the hands of men.
Okay.
Most of the time I fall in the hands of God.
Okay.
So that's how I left. Nikaenda kupursue. And that very season, wakati napitia hizo challenge pia, na huyu mchungaji and all that, it's a time that I also went through the divorce.
Okay.
So it was also another advantage on his side to make sure that
you're done.
Yes. And but God was gracious with me enough.
Okay.
Then sasa ndio mimi huyo kwa ndege, nimeingia ndege nikaenda Dallas.
Okay.
Bible College, CFNI, na nikaanza masomo pale. And I went through my education, but now that semester that I was required to pay, I was not able to pay. And I had to start now, you know, in the US, when you get your fee, they activate your card, the student card. There's the card that they gave you to swipe. You swipe, ukiingia kwa gate, kwa lecture hall, every hall. You know, you use the card. It's automated, eh? Everything is automated, eh? So hamsumbuani. So ukikataa kulipa school fees, they simply deactivate your card. So you cannot access the campus. Sasa either unangoja mtu afungue mlango na kadi yake, unashikilia mlango so that you can get in to the lecture hall. Now the same card is the same card that you used to swipe in, that you have already clocked in class. And so it reports to the international advisor that Robert Kiama has gotten into the lecture hall. And those are credit hours. And you have to swipe out. So if you time a student aingie kwa mlango lecture hall, hiyo ni sawa, utaingia kwa lecture. But kwa system, it's 0 hours. Hata usome the whole from morning to afternoon. wewe hujaingia class. Kwa maana huja swipe card yako. Na ukienda kuswipe card yako because it is deactivated, inapiga kelele na inaonyeshana red. So wanafunzi wengine wanajua huyu hajalipa fee ama milango inakataa kufunguka. So that's the US for you. That is the mzungu.
Okay.
Huwezi anza kwenda kwa registrar kujitetea. Kwa maana hizo
do the necessary, then you will be okay.
Yes. Kwa maana hata kwa administration block utapita aje, utaingia aje. How did you arrive here and your card has been deactivated? So we found ourselves in the streets because what they usually do, they give you like 2 weeks. Actually, when you miss classes, because now you're given 7 days. If you miss classes for 7 days, inaonyeshana kwamba huja clock in. You are referred in another semester. You lose the semester.
Oh.
If you lose, they call them 20 hours. If you lose 20 hours, that's a whole week. So kila siku mlikuwa ni 4 hours. Unasoma kutoka saa 2 mpaka saa 6. Then kutoka from 12, mnaenda lunch. Then from saa 7, tunaenda sasa janitorial work, kufanya kazi ya kuosha choo, the whole campus, kutoa trash and all that. But now the challenge is there was a racial discrimination. Sorry to say, I don't want to talk about that, but we saw it. Because most of the African people are the ones who are doing these jobs. The Wazungus, the white people, were out there pursuing their talents in the afternoon. So you could hear a certain university iko kwa field wanacheza, wako kwa drama, hii mnaosha na huku na maapron. You see? And I remember when I was going to the US, I just wanted to showcase my gift and I wanted to use my gift there. But there's no chance. So we felt underutilized. We felt misused. We felt abused. I remember we were washing those halls and the janitors and the washrooms with some Nigerian pastors. And every time we were washing and all that Nigerian pastor would tell me, "Pastor from Kenya, don't worry, Jesus is Lord." Yeah. We went through some trials, but we had to sacrifice. But now nimekosa ile pesa ya kujitetea. Because in my documents of when I was applying, I had said I have a Kenyan supporter who will be supporting me on the part of the scholarship. But to be very honest, on this other side, I had no one to give me any money, to send money. It was just kujaza by faith. Tapatikana. Yes. So when the time came for me to submit my cash, there was nothing. So they give you, they treat you like any other student who is sent home for school fees.
Yeah.
And so you're given munapewa deadline to clear from the campus, from the dormitories. Number one, the cards are deactivated. You return the key to the dormitory and all that. So there is a date to clear from the campus and the timeline. I remember it was a Wednesday, 3 p.m. Everybody clear from the dormitories, go to the parking lot, clear from the college. If you don't do that, and especially as an international student, they will call the immigration office to deport you. So it's 2 choices. They call the immigration for you, or you go and look for your fee and come back. So I remember this time I had no place to go because I knew nobody in Dallas, I knew nobody in Texas. And the only place I knew was home, was college. I remember it was winter when there was a lot of snow. And so we have been given timeline and the deadline to clear, and no one has come for you. So unaona watu wanakujiwa na magari wanaenda. After some time, one of the students, a third year student, came and asked me, "Have you gotten any help?" I said, "No, I don't know where I'm going with my bag." And he told me he has a pastor called Pastor Kangara Isaac, a very wonderful man of God. I think now he has a church in Oklahoma, USA. He said he's a student, he's doing his master's in one of the Bible colleges, And I've called him and he has said that he's going to pick you up. So that is the pastor from Kiambu who came and rescued me. He came and picked me with my bags, went and lodged, boarded a hotel for me for 1 week. Now the problem is he's a student. So 1 week is very expensive for an accommodation in a hotel. And he lived in with his wife. So I could not be accommodated with in a house because it could not accommodate 2 people. After 1 week, they could not be able to raise the money for the hotel. I was taken to Neema Church, where there is a bishop. I think he's now a bishop, Bishop Kingori, Neema Church. I went there. He went and introduced me to Bishop Kingori. When he went to introduce me to Bishop Kingori knew me because there's a time we met in Elbagon in Kenya. He had come there. I had been called by one bishop from Elbagon called Bishop Moya to go and preach in a crusade. So we met with Bishop Kingori there like 2 years ago. So when Pastor Isaac is going to introduce me to Bishop Kingori in his office, I have a young man, najua huyu jamaa Kiama, hey, uko yuko US. That way. Yeah. So now I'm taken by Bishop Kingori. He's told about my predicaments and all that. And he's told that now he doesn't have a place, no accommodation. Yes. It is a Saturday. So on Sunday, I'm told to report to the church. We go with Pastor Isaac Kangara, nikalala kwake kwa kiti. The next day, kanisani. After that, after the service, ninapewa nafasi, I sing my songs and all that. And then Bishop Kingori tells the congregants, we have a student who have a challenge and he has no accommodation. So if there's a family who can pick him and help, just come and see us in the office. So service imeisha, watu wakaenda nyumbani. Tukakaa kwa ofisi, after like 30 minutes, a couple comes. The family of the Dongos family from Wiley, Texas. May God bless you so much wherever you are. Because they came for me and they said, we want that young man. We are going to host him for some time until God opens his doors. Because they had bought a home and they had a house, a big house. So I was adopted. So I've gone through adoption in the US. I was adopted by Mama and Baba Dongo. I think they are from Banana or something like that, from Kiambu also. They adopted me. I stayed with their family for 2 months. And then I had, when I was in college, I had applied for what you call holiday vacation placements in churches. I think we call them internships in the layman's language, but I think in the ministry's placement. So when I was in college, I had applied for placement in a church in Alvin. So by this time, the colleges have been closed. They are on holiday and the churches are looking for students to attach them for placement. So I received an email when I was in Babadongo's home and this church is calling me for placement. We want to attach you for this holiday to come. We shall be giving you a token, something, but you shall give your accommodation. Just come and be a worship leader. See? So I respond to this email, hook up with this pastor. I give him the address. Boom. And I tell the Dongos, nimepata mahali pa kwenda hii holiday. Wacha nisonge. Ananiambia enda. In America, unashikwa hivyo, unapeanwa hivyo, unasonga. Life is still going on, Yes. Remember, I was still clinging to God, holding on to God and telling God, I'm still your servant. Don't forget me. So this Muzungu comes one Saturday afternoon with his vehicle. I don't know him. He's pastor. I think he was Pastor Clark. I don't remember him. Avin Church. He comes with that Prado. He comes, he says hi to the family and all that. Wazungu hawananga mambo mingi ati kushinda amekaa hapo kubura. I've come for this young man. So akaniambia nikute umepack. I packed my bag. Ndomo's family, bye. And that was the last time I saw the family. Wow. So nikaingia kwa gari kwa mzungu. Kaenda kwa church. A big church in Irving. Pentecostal church. I was shown my room in the same chapel. Nimelala kwa kanisa mimi.
Okay.
Niä koma ndanakorwo ngĩthĩa ya kanitha. So nimelala kwa kanisa. I remember it was actually like a store, but that's where I spread my bed. So I became the worship leader, but during the weekdays I could do the cleaning of the chapel. I could cut the glass, na ile tractor yao, you know, and all that,
Yeah.
trim the fences and all that. And I was passionate about that.
Okay.
For me, I felt, wow, niko nyumbani kwa baba, wacha nifanyie Mungu kazi. Yes.
So now we've been houseboy in Kenya.
Yes.
So here, I
man.
mean, and this I'm serving God.
Yes. And I had my little office there. So I started mentoring the young people. We started doing worship. I was the worship leader and all that. I learned a lot from the Mzungu family.
Okay.
They were very patient with people, very patient. But now the church, ilikuwa inakuja old people a lot. Like 60% were old people. The other youth were going to other Pentecostal, high Pentecostal churches. This was like a kitambo church. This was zile za kitambo kidogo. So the old people wa hiyo society ndio walikuwa wanakuja. So they also enjoyed. I thank God for the Anglican Church because I had learned a lot of hymns. You know, the golden bells,
Yes.
and they were using it there. So we usually had a 1 hour of worship moments, golden bells hymns in that church. So they could sit around and they could open the hymns. And one would suggest, let's do hymn 345. All right, let's go, Robert. And I could tell them, let's do What a Friend We Have in Jesus. Let's go. Let's do Courage, Brother. Do not stumble. And we could use like 1 hour of hymns. Healing music, wonderful. Just seated there with hymns, with those two shows, and those two gukas. Na hakuna haraka mingi. Hapana.
Most.
Courage, brother. Do not stumble. Oh, that it was one healing times, and people would give their testimonies, and I was like, wow. You know, when I was in Kenya, I used to watch Dolly Parton. I'm a lover of music, especially country music. So as much as I'm a minister, I love music. I love country music. So I used to follow my mama because my mother used to love Dolly Parton. So those two shows were like Dolly Parton. Now I could experience, you know, Texas is countryside. I was experiencing those two shows to Gukas, and they were like, what a friend we have with Jesus. I miss those moments. And the best thing with Wazungu, they serve God honestly. I just wish our people in Kenya would just serve God honestly with a lot of love, no hypocrisy. You know, in church in America, I realized they don't treat that as a social club. They treat it as a healing place where they come and bring their souls to console each other. Like, how have you been, Greg? How is your wife? How is your family? Oh, you're doing wonderful. You know, they could even come with their pets and their dogs and lock them somewhere out there.
No.
You see? And then after that, they would have some fellowship, some swallowship in the dining hall. You know, someone has come with some cookies, another person has come with juice, another person has food. They could just share. It was fellowship. It was not gossip. Most of our Kenyan churches have turned to be gossipers. Instead of, how have you been doing? How is your family? When we come to church, when people after church, it is gossiping.
Have you heard?
Have you heard about
Did
our
you
pastor?
see?
Did you see about the elder? Did you see about our bishop? Did you hear? I learned something that was so extraordinary. And I just felt this is home. So I served those shows to those bookers and I had their blessings. Oh, I'm telling you. And we also got chances to preach and to minister. We also got chances to go and visit some people in hospitals and all that. We learned a lot. But now the vacation period was not so long. I think it was kind of like 2 months. Now it had to be over. I had to go for the last Sunday because they knew colleges are opening. Like now in Kenya, tunajua university, na semester intake yenye walichukua September. So they knew watu wanarudi next month. And I could not tell the pastor ya kwamba nimefukuzwa shule kwa maana ya school fees. I held my challenges by myself. He just knew this is internship, so he wrote a letter of recommendation. He has been where, he's been doing it and all that. And then he tells the church, next Sunday we are doing a farewell to our youth pastor, our worship leader. I was a worship leader. And he has been wonderful. He has been wonderful to you. Come with your gifts. And we bless him the way we do it. All right, okay. Now I'm like, Jehovah God, where am I going? Wow. I remember one of the family friends, I had started making some Kenyan friends. I called him Mr. Geshia, and I told him I would want him to come and pick me because Sunday is my farewell. So after they do the farewell Sunday, I'm released. They bring a lot of gifts to me, some dollars, some TVs, some clothes, some things that I could not even carry. I had to take a storage in the church and store them.
Wow.
They brought a lot of gifts. Some gave them their treasures and their money. But the issue is I had to clear from the church and go back to college because it is time for the semesters to open. So I left those things in the store, just went with my envelopes na tuvitu tudogo. Mr. Geshia comes for me, picks me, hosts me for 1 month with the family. And also again now, after the family hosts me, their mother-in-law was to come back from Kenya because he had stepped out because of the winter season. He had to come back in that room.
Displaced again.
Yes. So those issues of displacement, get displaced. Mimi Mungu amekuwa ananipa, unapelekwa hivyo, unaenda hapo, that is not where you are going, that is not your destiny, tuende. So I had to clear again off. Where am I going? I talked to one lady, alikuwa anaitwa Rose. Now Rose hosted me. Rose hosted me in her house for 2 months. And that is when I started now seeking for. Remember now, you have been given by the college a 6 months period to pay the fee or you lose your visa status. That is what I'm trying to fight, the timeline. You have gone to Babadongos, that's kind of like 1 month. You have gone here for 2 months in the church. These are 3. So you have 3 months left. If you don't reinstate your status, you lose it. You come out of status. And that's how now I never knew I'm losing it. So the only thing I can do, because that Bible college is very expensive. The other option is to try and find a technical college, which is a little bit cheaper, a public one, where you can pay $2,000, or another Bible college which is not expensive, and raise some money and strike a deal with them about a payment plan. So I settled with Criswell Bible College, also in Texas, and they enrolled me and I paid the fee. You know, remember the tokens I had been given there?
Yeah.
I paid the fee. But then the agreement was every month on 18th of every month, I will be paying $800. $800 every month. I've paid $1,000, $800, and $200 for the medical insurance and all that for me to be admitted. So I paid $1,000. I got the admission letter. That is what I needed. So these 3 months, I have to clear the semester. Niingie college. I go through the semester for the 3 months so that now my status can be reinstated. Because the college there that has sent you home, you have the timeline for 6 months. So you are not yet out of status, but your status in a brink kwa immigration ya kwamba you are not in college and you are kwa hiyo timeline. So inajihesabingi. Ikifika time ikiisha, out of status, unaanza kutafutwa na immigration. Yes. So I get to college. I'm so happy. I start going to college. I have an accommodation. Rose was a lady who was also very respectful because she had she was married. The husband was in Kenya, had stepped out so that he doesn't lose his status also. But the husband could come back after 2 years.
Okay.
You know how people pray with the immigration issues. You step out either to Mexico or to your country so that you don't lose your status and then come back.
Yeah.
So I remember she hosted me for 2 months in that place. And on Sundays we could go, she could take me to Kenyan churches. Naenda naimba huko, nauzia watu CD zangu. I could sell my music CDs to people. And that's how I could raise my fee.
Yeah.
But I remember I raised the first one, the $1,000, the other one. The third month, I was not able to raise. I had $400. She had topped up something. We had 400. So I needed $400 to pay the 800. We tried to call friends. We tried to check on people to help us. Then I lost that one.
Wow.
I lost that semester. I remember on 18th, seeing my card being deactivated. I went to college to confirm on 19th, on a Friday, whether it has been deactivated. The problem there, it is automated. Siku zinajihesabu. Unapata email, kindly clear your balance. So it was deactivated. I could not access college. By the grace of God, I had even gotten a vehicle. You know, in the US, you can get a vehicle at $0. You just need a person to co-sign for you. And because Rose was an American citizen, she co-signed for me.
Okay.
Rose was a friend. We never messed up with her. We stayed like a sister and a brother. And I respect that lady so much.
Okay.
And afterwards, when I came to Kenya, I recall that the wife joined, the husband joined him one day. And it was also a testimony. You know how we connected with Rose? Maybe a summary of this. I'm coming out of that other family because the mother-in-law is coming. So it is the last Sunday I've gone to a church. That is where Rose gets into that, goes to the church. And so when I go to that church, it was, the pastor was Mkamba. It was a Kenyan church. I'm introduced there. And there was a prophetess who came to preach. And I remember this madam, she was an African American. She came and preached and prophesied and told people, I want us to help each other meet their needs. And she preached, and after that she told everyone, just get a partner that is next to you. Now I was seated next to Rose. I never knew Rose. She had just invited me to come to their church because she was in the worship team. So we paired as partners. As the prophetess concluded her sermons, and she said, now I want you to take 2 minutes to share with that new found partner a need that you have so that he or she can pray with you. And then she'll share, or he'll share with you their need. So Rose shared with me, and I remember she told me, I have my husband in Kenya and I'm praying to God that God opens his doors to come. So pray for that. I told her, for me, hapa unaniona. After this service, I don't have accommodation. I don't know where I'm going. She was like, yes, I don't know where I'm going. I have to go and pick my clothes where I have been hosted because I have to clear from the house. And I'm struggling to make sure that I don't lose my student visa. So just pray with me that God opens a door for me because I'm stranded in the US. By that time, I had started getting depressed. I never knew that depression was eating me because I had a lot of Meshiria Maike. No, it was not easy. As you know, it might be easy right now as I'm talking.
Yeah.
It was not easy. Even in his family, even in the kitchen, in the church, it wasn't easy. And back home, I was a famous person. I was a gospel artist. I was a youth pastor. You know, I was like, why did I leave Kenya?
We are all looking for your contact because you are in the US.
Yes.
So we need, how can you help us to get there? Or send us some cash.
And I was eating problems. It wasn't easy.
Yes.
But every other time, there's something that I've learned from God. Every other time that I'm in my lowest and I've come to my end, God sends an angel. Every time I get to my final door, it is locked, it is final, and I just let go and I just give up and I tell God, you know what, God takes over. So that was the final time. My answer was in the altar. Most of my answers are always in the altar. I never went to club to take alcohol that Sunday. I chose to go church.
Yes.
I remember the prophetess says, pray for each other. And we were given some time, like 10 minutes to pray for each other's needs. And we prayed and we prayed. We held hands and we prayed. Then she said, I want to challenge you again. You have prayed for your partner? Yes. Now, I want you to have a moment with God and ask God to give you an answer about your partner's problem. And if you can be able to give your partner an answer, you give it. And if you can be able to meet the need of your partner, you meet it. That is one of the ways that I found out. I think it's practical theology. I have never found it working like that. So the prophetess told people, do it. Don't just tell a person that because you're hungry, God bless you. If you have bread, give them bread. If you find a person who needs clothes and you have two, share. So that's what she challenged us to do that. And now with me and Rose, on my side, I could not be able to bring her husband from Kenya.
I don't want to think loudly. You're not thinking you may not bring the husband, but you can make a husband.
No, I was so much, when you are in trying times, you don't want to mess up with God.
Sure.
When you are in times, most of the people mess up with God when wameshiba. You see? If you go to prison or jail or to hospital, people there, they love God so much because they're in trouble.
Sure.
Yes. But go to clubs where people are taking nyama choma in pombe. They don't care about, watu wameshiba.
True.
So most of the time wakati uko kwa shida na unataka Mungu akufanyie kitu, you're very cautious.
Yes.
So such a thought could not cross my mind.
Sure.
But if I was well up, maybe that was a chance to tell Rose, hii mambo tutaangalia baadaye, wacha Bwana akae pande hiyo, tutapanga hii mambo, akikuja nitaondoka.
And I also think the atmosphere, because as you're saying, you're not in a club. If it's a club, she's sharing.
Exactly.
That is the solution. Here, you're in an atmosphere where it's God doing His work.
Exactly. So I told her, the only thing I can do is to pray for you that God will open the doors of your husband. And sooner or later, you guys are going to be together. Yes. Then she told me, I think I can answer your need. I have friends who I can call. And because in America, people do house sharing. They pull up. You can get like a 3-bedroom house. You just share the table room. Each one get their own bedroom, and you can share the table room, the kitchen. Students are doing it in the US, and I think also here in Kenya. I think people have adopted that. So she told me there are some friends, there are some guys I know who live in my neighborhood. Let me call them and ask them whether they got a room. So she made some calls when we were still in church and all that. We have a session of like 30 minutes engaging now as we do the fellowship there. So she called some few friends. But the problem is the rooms are full. It's a time to open the semesters. So anapiga hapa, the rooms are full. The rooms are full and all that. So Rose tells me, Now the only option I have is my table room. I can go and offer you a chance and accommodation in my house if you won't mind. And I was like, hey, how do I mind? And I'm the one in need.
What is there to mind?
Na ni winter. Nikufe kwa snow. So she tells me, you're fine, yes. And she tells me I can offer you a chance as you try to realign your life.
Okay.
And that's it. So the prophetess does the final prayer, and she says, if there are people who are here and you have a testimony that God has answered your need right now in this service, come out there. And people came out. And I was one of the people who came out.
Oh.
Yes. And I told him, God have answered my prayer. I had no place to go. But today,
I have a place.
I found a shelter.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
People give
powerful.
testimonies. If you can meet the needs of your friend or a need of a partner or a need of a church person or a neighbor who is there and they are in need, you don't have to speak in tongues where tongues are not necessarily needed. At times, God wants to stretch your hand and offer support.
Yeah.
So if you find that all I need is unga, is a shoe to help me walk through those over the thorns, don't rabashaka yanda and all that and do G-mix and all those things and anoint me with oil all over the body. And you really know that that is not going to help me.
Turudi pale kwa 19, is it 19th or 18th? When the card is tickling.
Yes. So nikaenda na gari yangu, nimesema already sasa nilikuwa tumekaa na Rose vizuri kama like sisters and brothers. We had wonderful times with God. Tunaenda road trips wakati mwingine. You know, I was like his buddy.
Okay.
He also felt very secure with me.
She felt so secure going a road with you.
Yes, she felt so secure.
The husband is aware you were there?
Yes, actually the husband knew that they have hosted a man of God. And we are trying to work out his way out.
Okay.
So we had communicated. There was no hypocrisy.
Yes.
And God is my witness. I never messed up with that woman of God. And she respected me so much. And also she respected my calling. So na huko ndio unaendanga wakati unaomba unaambianga Mungu, on this one, God, I never did this. I never messed up. Why don't you remember me? And God comes and says, hey, by the way, let me now reward you. So at times you need to also be sensitive as you work out your salvation with fearing and trembling.
Yes.
So 18th, 19th, I've gone to clock in. I can not even clocking in to get into the parking lot because I have my vehicle now. Chevy Cruze, a wonderful vehicle. I was driving. Left, yes. You get to the parking lot, but now this grill ya kufungulia gate kwa parking, kile kichuma, inakata kufunguka. Because the vehicles there, they have the kastika that the camera inakascan kastika kale umeweka kwa screen kwa maana umelipa school fees na umelipa parking, you know the access so inakuja inascan inakasoma kigeti inafunguka, ikikataa inakataa. Now the problem is kuna gari zingine nyuma za other students and most of the white students they bully you so they start honking, you get off man, hey go pay your fee man, get off, hey man get off. Because gari iko pale umekataa kufunguliwa parking. So they are obvious, they are interpreting, they know that so what you do, you pull off so that you can let them now get in and you cannot try to joke around with that kichuma ati gari ingine ingie na uji yako itagongo. So you are so much, I remember it was a Friday. I was so much frustrated. Now the problem in the US, you just cannot go parking anywhere. That parking sticker inaonyeshana parking lot yako ni shule. So ukijaribu kwenda kupaka na huko kwa street, you might find your car has been towed. You see? So after the parking issue, I could not get in, and I could not just go and park in the estates and the streets. So where do I go? I cannot go home because now Rose is at work, and I feel very frustrated. So I take a road trip. Nika fuel gari. Ukiwa US kuweka $20 ilikuwa mafuta kama umejaza tank. Mafuta huko ni kama free.
Okay.
Yes. I fueled the vehicle and nakumbuka nikaweka music, loud music. It's like driving from Nairobi to Meru.
Wow.
You know the highways, they are clean, eh? Ni kama, I think the lanes kama 6 one way. So road trip, kwenda kutoa stress. Nikaenda, and I drove off. I never knew I'm getting hit by depression now. Yes. I think nilienda like, I ride like 3 hours. We've lacked $400 and I'm losing it. Now this is where we got always scratch mutwe. God, not again, not this time. You have tried to live so clean, eh? You know, very naitwa nini, very humble life with God, eh? Unaangalia kana wina iroro, kana wina nikinga yarenda gukwherithia ringi. You telling God, no, not this time. I've lived so well and waited. I cannot afford losing this one. It is the last one for my status to be reinstated. If I lose this one, I've lost the 6 months. Wow, and it was like that. And I remember I started sinking into depression. Because after that 1 week, now I've lost it. I cannot go anywhere, ni kushinda kwa nyumba. Rose anaenda kazini, anarudi. Kazini, anarudi. Sasa ni kitchen, kupika, nyumba. Kupika. The problem with the US, you cannot just go loitering around. It's not like Kenya. Kenya people are so free. In the US, if you have nothing to do out there, stick in your house. And especially if you are a man of color, with this black color. Every other time, unaonekana ukiruita around, you become a suspect. So sasa wewe you are sasa black, you are even more blacker because you are from Africa. So you don't roit around. So sticking in the house again.
Depression.
So I started sinking slowly into depression. Scratching your head. You don't know what to do. You cannot eat. You have lacked interest with anything and you are losing it. And one day I found myself driving my vehicle, going to a neighboring park, like Uhuru Park somewhere. You know, there are estate parks in Alvin. And I went there. And when I went there, I could not realize that there was a timeline to clear off from the park. Kama sasa, I think Uhuru Park, you clear off by saa moja. Saa moja jioni, you have to clear off from the park. Huko, walikuwa wamepeana timeline ya clear off. I did not know. Imeandika huko kwa mawe, I think saa 3 usiku. Mimi nimeenda na gari, nimekaa huko, watu wanaendelea kukaa huko, walking. You know, most of the people do prayer walks, just relaxing. Wengine wana swing. So I was there in that parking lot. I stayed there, nikashikwa na kausingizi, saa 3 ikafika. Sasa nimeshikwa na depression. Ninakimbiza gari ovyo. Like nikishika gari na kimbia tu even kwenye uko imeandikwa 10 km, 10 miles per hour hivyo. So I remember that day, ni wakati nilikuwa naenda sasa kwa hiyo parking lot. Bado nilikuwa nimekimbia sana mbali. Na Rose kunipigia akaniuliza, "Where are you?" Nikamwambia, "I'm very far." "Hey, just come home." So wakati nirudi nikaenda kwa parking lot. That's where I started now losing it. Because now time imetoka, mumefika wakati wa kutoka kwa parking lot. And you are still in the park. Kuna watu wengine bado wako kwa park kama mimi. Gari iko huko kama gari zingine, unaona watu wako tu around. So the park enforcement, wale maaskari wa kanjo kama wa kanjo huko wanakuja sasa kukimbizana na watu wenye wako huko bado na masaa imepita. So wakikuja, ukiona sasa watu wameanza kukimbia, si hata wewe unakimbia, unatoroka. But sasa you cannot go far because gari yako iko huko. So you have to come back for your vehicle. So when you go out there and you start getting in, nikakimbia na huko nikatoka nje, nikarudi kwa gate, the main gate, coming like now trying to pretend nimetoka na huko nje, nilikuwa nimeacha gari. Leaving your vehicle also there is an offense.
Wow.
Yes. So when I came and I entered into the vehicle and I'm trying to ignite the car and drive off, the enforcement officer comes and he's like, "Hey, young man, hold on. You have been charged of when you go past time, they call it trespass."
Okay.
Yes, you have passed the time and all that. So it's $50 and they give you a ticket. You pay the $50 within a month. So what they need, yes, it's like a county ticket. There's no corruption. So what they just need is your ID, so that they can write the details and give you the ticket and charge you. Wakanakaroria ka ticket, wanakupea. So because you don't have an ID and you are an international student, they will take your passport. Yes. So when they take the passport, they realize you are a foreigner. So they will write a ticket. Robert Kiama Wamaru from Kenya, student, ticket. You see? The residential area. You see? For them to know your residential area, where they can come for you, they have now to go into their vehicle and enter your details in the computer. That's how I started losing it now. So they take the passport is valid, the visa is, not the visa, the passport is valid. So they go to the vehicle and they enter the details. When they enter the details, now it pops up even your visa status.
Done.
Yes. And that's when they recognize you are out of status. Because now remember the 6 months timeline has elapsed. Nikiwa kwa Rose, tumetafuta school fees imekosekana. Na college imeindicate ya kwamba you are now out of college. Because what they do in college, when they send you off to go and get your school fees, they, as an international student, they have to report to the immigration that you are not under there. They, you know, they escape liability. They don't take responsibility. They have to report that this student from today, we have sent him off to get his school fees. So hako mikononi mwetu, akipata shida na huko tusiulizwe. So the immigration department ni the federal government. Wanajua sasa tumerushiwa mtu. So nayo bado ina click, time ina click, 6 months imeisha. I've lost it. So status yangu inaonekana you are out of status. And that was one of the worst moments. Because now when they go to click your passport, it shows that you're out of status. This is an enforcement officer of the Avin state. But now it has popped an issue of the federal government, an immigration issue. So what they do, because they are not corrupt, they will report to the immigration office. We have a client. They call you clients. You have a client. So they come and give me the ticket. And they tell me to wait. And they hold the passport. So I cannot drive and go without my passport. They wait for the immigration call. The immigration office call tells them, hold our client in the nearest police station or police cell. Will be coming to pick him. The laws of the US, you cannot be held over 24 hours. So if the immigration office or vehicle is around that area or will be coming, passing through that area, wanaweza sema hold him, tutapitia. Now the problem is the immigration vehicle was far away from a certain direction, and in that morning ilikuwa ipitie hiyo area. Sasa wanasema hold him in that cell tuweke yeye huko. So what they do, they hold your passport. Anakwambia drive, tufuate. Una drive mpaka kwa police station. Unaingia kwa cell. Wanakupea ticket. I remember nililipa hiyo $50. Then I called Rose, nikamwambia kuja uchukue gari. Bosi nikamuitia funguo za gari, kila kitu, nikaacha na simu yangu, passport yangu hawezi kunipea. Because what they do, they confiscate the passport. Wewe huwezi enda mahali anywhere. Hata ukipotea, you will need it wakati unataka kufly back home. So wakishika hiyo ni hivyo. Yes. So nikarara kwa cell. The next day, the immigration vehicle comes. Hiyo ni mbaya sana. Wanaitango the ICE. Hey, hi, how are you, Robert? Hey, wanakuonyesha badge. We are from ICE. We understand that you have been here as a student and your visa has gotten out of status. And so you are in the United States of America illegally. So you are under arrest. Hands up! Wow. So they change their voice and everything. Now you are a suspect. You are Al-Shabaab. You are anything now. Wow. Hands up! Weka pingu huku. Wanakuweka pingu huku za miguu. Hiyo pingu inaekangwa hapa. The handcuffs inaenda hivi. Inawekwa hapa kama mshipi. Inateremka inakushika. Inaweka kufuli. Oh. Then you get to the vehicle. When you get to the vehicle, your handcuff inalokiwa kwa gari. They don't take you lightly. They think either you aspire an Al-Shabaab or a suspect or whatever. Immigration issues in America is an issue. It's a big thing. That's a federal crime. You are there illegally, even if it's one day. So Rose comes. Before I spend my night in the cell, Rose comes, picks the vehicle. She was like, "What happened?" I've lost it. That was the last time I saw Rose. Wow. And we've never seen each other from that time. And she felt so sad that we are losing it. And she tried to talk to the police officers, but it was out of their hands because they had already reported to the immigration. And in America, there is no corruption. You cannot bribe. If it's in Kenya, hiyo ingekuwa imeenda hiyo. But anyway, so that's how I found myself now in the hands of the immigration department. And those guys are no joke. Those guys treat you like a real criminal, like a suspect. They don't know what you're doing in America illegally. Yes. Either you are a spy, you have come to spy their country or whatever, you know. So when they take you, they took me to Dallas. And they lock me up with other detainees who are waiting to be processed, either to be deported or go to detention. So when you go there, you're given an option, 2 options, to sign for deportation, voluntary departure, and they give you like 2 weeks to be there, wait for the next flight or charter to go back home, and they pay for your ticket. If not that, you go to the deportation, to the detention camp to try and fight your case when you're there. Okay. So I took the papers and all that. I was tired of America. I wanted to sign to go home. I remember one guy called Jeff Wagema. He also got deported. He's here in Maimayu. Okay. But now he had stayed in detention for some time. So they had come just to report to the offices so that they go back to the detention. So I remember him calling me from one of the windows. Hey, come. Where are you from? Kenya. And he asked me, Nike, weta watea? I was, Kiama. Nike uraza ina manyago mazio. Uraza ina doka ino Kenya. America tiko anyina. You know? Doka ino ke, don't go home. Usisaini hiyo kitu. Sema huendi, kuja tuende detention. And he was like, what? You know, I was a little bit naive. I'm depressed, I'm stressed, I'm confused. But now I have gotten a radical person. You know, yeah, I'm a detention like 1 year. So I go, leke. America kutinukago. Don't go home. And sign hapo, sema you are ready to go to detention. Kuja, utatukuta huku, tutakuonyesha how to file your case. And I'm like, really? Sign hili tukienda saa 10 tuende pamoja. I had already signed I want to go home. So I go back to that. I remember she was an African American, a lady, a woman. I told her, ma'am, kindly give me back the papers. Akaniuliza, you want to reconsider your decision? I said, yes. What do you want? I want to go. I want to fight my case. Oh, really? I said, yes. And I remember that lady asking me, are you man enough to stay in the detention? I said, I'll try. I'll try. And I asked him, for how long will I stay in the detention? And she told me, it's going to be 1 month or 2 months or 3 months or even a year. Are you ready for that? If you sign this, I'm not going to promise you that it's going to be easy. Are you ready to sit down like a man and be confined and sit down for 1 year until a decision is made for you? I asked him, will I be able to make calls to my family? No!
Wow.
No! It's going to be once in a week. And it's going to cost you money. Do you have money? And she was like, she bullied me. And these other guys in the lock-in cell are telling me, hey, where? Hapana. Usiende nyumbani. Took the paper and asked God, what do you want? God, can I be able to face this? And I don't know whether it was God or hapo siwezi wekelea Mungu. God was very silent at that time. Hapana, hapo hakujibu. He never spoke a word. But I signed. When I signed that I want to go to detention, I felt a lot of peace. Wow. I signed and I took the paper back. And so I remember the madam called another officer. Hey, lock him up with the other guys. So I was locked among the people who were waiting for the Scania, the buses to take them to detention. Boom.
Wow.
Katolewa manyororo zangu nikaingizwa huko.
Wow.
So I saw Nigerians, Tanzania, and the Kenyan people. And Jeff was became one of my friends. Started speaking in Kikuyu there. Nike, mudu dainukaga huko. Huko mudu dainukaga. Mudu ang'ang'anaga biũ. Nginya rĩa mũico menda gũkũingĩria ndege na mũtwe ũguo. Kang'ang'ana watigana waroa biũ.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, how is detention? Akaniambia, let's go. It's not a big deal. It's not a prison, it's a detention, immigration. They don't mistreat you, but they will confine you. It's in a desert. If you Google Haskell detention camp, iko na huko miles away from Texas, from Dallas town. Na huko ndani, kama ile prison inaitangwa Maranjao. There's a time when I came from America and I went to visit some prisoners in Maranjao. So nikaona kwenye wamewekwa na huko. I also understand Shimoratewa inakuanga deep somewhere. I had something like this. So we were taken to detention. Tukaingia kwa hizo mabasi. When those buses come, you are chained 6 people. From this office now, chained your hands, your leg, this other person legs, 6 people. And so now you walk to the bus. You cannot try to run away.
Wow.
So when you get to the bus, they unchain the legs, they lock you to the seat. That way, that's how you go. So it's like a 32 seater or whatever, and they take you. It's maskani kama zile za Mombasa, kubwa. Kuna mpaka washroom huko nyuma. It's a 4 hours journey from Dallas. So we drove. Tukafika Kituma usiku. And welcome home. That's where they tell you when you get there. Welcome home. So they take off all your clothes and they give you now those movies that I usually like watching, those American movies, the detention, prison, and all those. You see those orange suits, eh?
Yes.
Zimeandikwa Dallas, DPD or whatever county. Mimi nimevaa.
Oh.
Nimevaa hizo because those are the things that they give you now. You take all your clothes and they take your passport, they take your phone and all that. They keep them safe for you, but now they give you those other whatever. And then they give you the clocks. unaona nimekuwa nikiambia my youth wa huku Kenya hizi clocks tunaziita clocks hizo ziko fashion. Huko ni viatu za jera huko. Zinakuanga zimedonetiwa kwa Afrika for free. Nakuja kuuziwa huko. So long story short,
Wow.
went to the detention, very emaciated, very tired, having already given up because I've lost it this time. I've lost the status, nimekamatwa. Now they have to process you so that now they process everything. And also now to give you, you know, they continue fixing you in. Na huko ndani, unaingia kwa maroom, na huko, unaingia. Kuna rooms za, kuna block A ya ladies, kuna block B. There are thousands of people there. You go to the dining hall, you are scared because every other eye is on you. Hizi ni mono zimekuja. You're scared. Now the best thing is that I had a friend, Jeff. So I knew already I have a comrade, I have a person who will take care of me. If I had no friend, huko hata unaweza pigwa na uwawe. Yes. So I knew I had a person who would be watching me. Yes. So we went there, we were contained. You are contained in a room which carries like 8 people. You stay there, you just watch television, go to the library the time you want, go get your medication. Now, for the first 3 months, I sank into depression. I thank God because a doctor noted when I was in detention and I was referred to a psychiatrist and I was given some medication. And so I started getting my healing. So every other time I could go get some 2 pills in the morning. Because inaitwa Serexa pills. And then in the evening, I could get some 2 medications, some 2 tablets, very small, tunakaa tupiriton tu huku. And I remember he was called Dr. Neighbag. He helped me so much to accept the situation because that time, as I was sinking and sinking inside, na huko njera ndani na huko detention, I started now losing hope. I'm very far away from home. I cannot be able to reach out to my people, and I'm being locked up in there. And it was so painful. I could not believe I've lost it. And that was the moment of God and me. I could sleep the whole day. But wakiitwa lunch, you could not miss lunch. You cannot miss meals. They have to force you to eat.
Okay.
Because they know you can go for hunger strike and die. So it doesn't matter whether you're depressed or you're not, you have to come out and go and eat. When it's time for your medication, you have to go and take your medication. And there's an officer there watching you that you have taken the drug.
Oh.
Umemeza. Yes, let me see. You open your mouth.
Wow.
Yes, it is that way. But there were chapel services and all that. But the first 3 months, I was really knocked out. I was not myself. I totally was knocked out.
I'm sorry.
It took God. That one, it took God. In the detention camp, it was not bread and butter. As much as you're not doing anything, you're just watching movies. It's saa 10 mnatoka nje kwa field kucheza. But every other person, even in the field, the young people, when you're mezoea, they are playing football and all that. At times, I could go and pray. But the first 3 months, unaingia unakuta wale wazee wa Nigeria, wazee wa wapi. Every other person is thinking about their home. So people are in deep thoughts, even in the field. You could not dare try to provoke a person. Yes, because you don't know what they are thinking. Yeah. So there were fights. When fights erupted, people would fight. Like even people would fight Mexicans versus Africans. When ukiguza moja tu hivyo kwa field, ugonge moja ina erupt, inakuwa sasa ni street fight. The blacks versus Mexicans, Russians, that way. Sasa askari wanaingia na marungu mnarara chini. Kuna wakati kulikuwa kuna erupt hizo fights. because people are wounded,
Yeah, sure.
and you don't know what a person is going through. So you could not try to provoke a person. Ukiona mtu amekaa kwa kiwanja peke yake, hivyo, achana na yeye. Leave them alone. And that's when I got into very deep thoughts. I had never found myself. You know, Kenya is a country where it's a community. Kenya watu wanatoka hivyo sokoni, hey wanganga, hey Kimani, you know, people are free. But right there, hapana. It was a painful season. But thank God that I overcame it. I healed. That time, it was not something to joke around. I was losing my mind.
Okay.
And the problem with my depression, it was ile ya kunyamaza. Ile ya kunyamaza, una forget memories. Tumana weko, tulikuwa na wewe wapi?
Wow.
That way, I was losing that. I was losing the grip of myself. But by the grace of God, God used that moment to make sure that I got the best medication from the US.